Hello everyone, and thank you for being part of the Liverpool chapter. And please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever we've got to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Liverpool related. Right about here at the Liverpool chapter with me, your very host Abu Karls, as I'm definitely dedicated to bring to you the latest straight as it comes in, as I've got quite a lot to talk about. I've got quite a lot of news really to talk about today, and definitely we've got a big number of football players really to talk about, as it's the transfer show. You definitely know that we're going to be talking about the likes of Romeo, Lavia. A number of football players have already left the club. Some of them have joined the club. And right about now, reinforcement is something that we are going to be talking about. Who is joining the club, Liverpool? Who is not joining? Who is being talked about? And it's just a rumor. All this in this transfer show. All you need to do is simple: subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever I've got to bring to you right about here at the Liverpool chapter. So you'll be remembered that Romeo Lavia has been linked to the club Chelsea for he's been linked to Chelsea, and he's also been linked to Manchester United. He's been linked to Arsenal and also Liverpool. But by the look of things, some of the clubs are definitely out of this transfer right about now as we talk, with the likes of Manchester United that have dropped off. Chelsea has also really dropped off, and Arsenal still has a bit of Arsenal has a bit of interest in Romeo Lavia, but they have spent quite a lot of money, I must say. They've spent a bit of money. They've spent something like £200 million already. And if they go into quite a number of these transfers, really, they'll have quite a bad time with FFP rules. And the club Liverpool really still has a lot. It still has, the club Liverpool still has a lot of money really to spend. And the fact that some football players are leaving the club, and football players are definitely joining the club, looking at joining the club, it should be quite well with FFP roles. With the fact that one of the greatest football players for the club, Liverpool, really has left the club, or has actually been given permission to finish a deal that is worth £40 million. The fact that Fabinho is leaving the club, Liverpool is looking at getting yet other football players. Who is going to be replacing the football player Fabinho? Is Romeo Lavia fit for the job? Is it going to be Amrabat? Who? Definitely. Let's see what possibly Sky Sports is saying. I read an article before about Sky Sports saying Liverpool transfer news about Lavia, a four-man shortlist to replace Fabinho. Anyway, there is also something about Fabinho, and also there is something about apart from Fabinho, there is also another football player that has been linked to, leaving alone the Fabinho story for a minute. There's also another football player who's been linked to the club, and that is none other than Calvin Phillips, who's a Manchester City football player, and he's been looking at making a move away from Manchester City. And Jurgen Klopp sees quite a lot of potential. Klopp sees a lot of potential in the football star, and Klopp is saying that if you are getting problems with the club Manchester City, you have a big place right about here. Anyway, let's before we get back to Calvin Phillips, let's see exactly about Lavia, Gravenberch. We've got quite a big number of football players ready to talk about. I saw they're saying that Phillips, and this is from Sky Sports, I must say. Phillips, they're also talking about Phillips. They're saying Phillips, Gravenberch, Amrabat, and Lavia are on the shortlist to replace Fabinho. Liverpool have been assembling candidates to be a long-term successor of Fabinho, with Romeo Lavia being the highest in this position. We've also got the Brazilian impending sale might shift change in profile to more experienced options, but Moises Caicedo is also in there. Anyway, let's really get the party going. I think for some reason I think Calvin Phillips really would do quite a great job. Calvin Phillips is quite a good football player. He's experienced, but in a recent the post we read was from Sky Sports, but in a recent interview, Calvin Phillips admitted that he was struggling at Manchester City and he was not getting his form quite well at Manchester City. He had quite a bad time at Manchester City. He did not fit in quite well. He was playing quite before he went to Manchester City. He had quite a great time, a good time. But once he moved to Manchester City, I think it was because of all that competition. He did not have the best of times. And right about now, I can confirm to you that he's into a move away. And the fact that he's such an experienced football player and he's still, he's not that old. He's still a bit young and also yearning for success. The club definitely, Liverpool needs a football player really like him, and I think he would really do quite great. He would do quite great. He would definitely play very well for the club Liverpool under the management of Jurgen Klopp. I'm 100% sure that Jurgen Klopp will really give him the watch time, the play time really that he definitely wants, and he would be a better football player. And speaking about Romeo Lavia, who is a Southampton football player, EFL Championship is a place where Southampton has gone. In the Premier League, they are no longer there. They definitely moved to, they were relegated and they moved to the EFL Championship. And right about now, I can confirm to you still that things are not going on quite well for the club Southampton, because next season Southampton is not going to be part of the Premier League. They've gone in the EFL Championship, and definitely Romeo Lavia being one of those biggest targets the world really is looking for. Quite a number of football clubs that have been looking for Romeo Lavia. Really, there is no chance that the club Southampton would keep Romeo Lavia. It's quite difficult. I see it as something that is next to impossible, because the fact that all these clubs are really saying Romeo Lavia is a way good football player and being number one on the shortlist for football players that are going to be replacing Fabinho, with the fact that Fabinho has had a £40 million bid from a Saudi Arabian club. He's definitely going to be heading there, and the club Liverpool is looking at reinforcements in different sections. Anyway, right about now, having talked about Romeo Lavia and his move to the club Liverpool, I can still confirm to you that there are very many chances, big possibilities that Romeo Lavia is going to be heading to the club Liverpool, as we already had got information before that Romeo Lavia had already agreed in principle to join the club Liverpool. Also, there were talks between Romeo Lavia and also the club Liverpool, and these talks really came out positive. However, money has to be paid, and how much are we talking about? We are talking about quite a big amount of money, really. £50 million. £50 million is what the club Southampton is saying that they are definitely going to be selling the football player for, but also put in consideration that £50 million. That £50 million is quite a lot of money, and Liverpool has quite a good reputation when it comes to football negotiations, and I think everything is really going on quite well for the club Liverpool, because they are doing the football negotiations quite well, and I think Romeo Lavia could really easily be got by the club Liverpool at something like 30 to 40 million pound. Liverpool should really be in a position of getting Romeo Lavia at that amount of money. Having said that, Romeo Lavia isn't the only football player that we are talking about. We also talking about Amrabat. Amrabat, really, despite the fact that he's been linked as to the club Liverpool as one of those football players that could be replacing Fabinho, it will be remembered that it's not the first time he's been linked to the club Liverpool. He was linked to the club Liverpool in the general transfer window, and there were big possibilities. There was a big possibility that he could definitely be signing for the club Liverpool in the January transfer window. However, it did not go as expected, and right about now, I can confirm to you that things really have gone quite well with the club Liverpool, as Liverpool is advancing in stages, to get this football player for themselves. So Liverpool is really doing quite well when it comes to this summer transfer window, with the likes of Alexis McAllister already at the club. Alexis McAllister, who moved to the club Liverpool from yet another club, and that was none other than Brighton and Hove. And apart from him, who is also a midfielder, Jurgen Klopp is really looking at enhancing the midfield. Because what happened last season, one of the biggest reasons as to why Liverpool ended up in the 5th position, not even in the 4th for Champions League football, but 5th position, and yet the 1st position was also an option that Liverpool really could have taken, really, is because of the midfield. The midfield was a little bit shaky, wasn't the best of midfields, and the fact that Jurgen Klopp identified this and said, I need reinforcement in the midfield, that's why we are seeing football players really running away, going away, being pushed away. No, even if I say being pushed away, that will be mean, but the honest truth is that many of the football players are going to be leaving the club Liverpool, and we've already seen some of them, like Fabinho, really being linked to an exit. Or quite a big number of football players really are leaving the club Liverpool, and some of them have already been confirmed, but most of them are midfielders, and that's why our midfield section of the club Liverpool really is something that the current manager Jurgen Klopp is really looking at. And as I was telling you before, Amrabat has really been, Sofian Amrabat has been in big plans. It's no, even when Sky Sport comes out and says they are listing him as a possible replacement of the football player who's that, of Fabinho. Remember, it's not the first time. It's not the first time for him being linked to the club Liverpool, because in the very first instance, in the general transfer window, he almost moved to the club Liverpool, but for some reason, it didn't happen. It did not happen, but he was closely monitored by the club Liverpool, and even right about now, it is said that agents from the club Liverpool really are trying to make things go on quite well for the club Liverpool when it comes to the Sofian Amrabat Liverpool transfer. Let's talk about yet another football player. Let me see whom I've got for you. Ryan Gravenberch really has also been linked to the club Liverpool really for some time. And Ryan Gravenberch really, he's quite a good one. Let me see. Ryan Gravenberch. I need to get a few. I need to see his statistics and see really Ryan Gravenberch. He's a Dutch professional football player. I can say Ryan Gravenberch, who's a Dutch professional football player and plays as a midfielder for Bundesliga club Bayern Munich and also the Netherlands national team. That's quite great, but I need to see a bit of statistics and see. I don't expect goals because it's a midfielder, really. Yeah, but what I need to see in the Bundesliga is he given enough game time? If a football player is really given enough game time, that definitely means that his manager trusts him, and the fact that he's had 24 appearances the last season, and that definitely seals it. 24 appearances, that was quite good of him. That definitely means he's been getting a bit of gameplay and he's been on form, really. And him making a move to the club Liverpool, that would definitely be good. That would be a great thing. Anyway, you can let us know what you definitely think about Ryan Gravenberch moving to the club Liverpool. We've got Ryan Gravenberch, we've got Romeo Lavia, we've got who else is in there? Calvin Phillips, also Moises Caicedo. Talking a little bit about Moises Caicedo, he's been linked to the club Liverpool, but also remember that despite the fact that he's been linked to the club Liverpool, there is a big possibility that the football player really could move to the club Chelsea, because Chelsea, it is reportedly said that Chelsea is in the final stages of signing the football player. So let's hope really all goes on quite well for the football player, as definitely I think, I personally think that if he moved to Liverpool, it would be a much better thing for him, because Chelsea are not, you're not very sure about Chelsea. I know they're trying to build something, but nobody knows, nobody's 100% sure about whether they would do quite well. But with Jurgen Klopp, he's always really showed the world that he can definitely move from a bad situation to the better or the best of situations. Anyway, that's what I had for you, and please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever I've got to bring, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Liverpool related, right about here at the Liverpool chapter with me, your very host, Abu Carls. Thank you and goodbye for now.